Like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Protection of the high seas. A treaty to protect international waters is finally agreed. After more than a decade of negotiations, nations have reached an historic agreement on the final treaty text to protect 30% of the high seas by 2030. The high seas cover about 2/3 of the world's oceans. These international waters are beyond the jurisdiction of any nation, but all countries have the right to fish, use shipping lanes and conduct research.the last international treaty on the high seas dates back to 1982. When the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea was adopted, and sets out rules that govern how the oceans and marine resources. But only just over 1% of the high seas is currently protected, putting marine life at increasing risk from overfishing, pollution, climate change and ship strikes. The report cites examples of species at risk of extinction, from dugong to abalone to corals. All in all, about 10% of the 17,903 seas assessed rest and plants. Overfishing and pollution are major threats, but climate change affects at least 41% of threatened marine species, the report said. The newly agreed agreement aims to protect 30% of the high seas by the end of this decade. When delegates finally reached an agreement after nearly 2 days of uninterrupted negotiations at the Intergovernmental Conference on the Conservation and Sustainable Use of Marine Biodiversity outside national jurisdiction, President Rina Lee of Singapore opened the closing plenary session by saying, "The ship has the shore." One of the main points of contention in reaching an agreement included differing views on the equitable sharing of marine genetic resources, all biological material from sea plants and animals, that can be used as medicine or food. Environmental groups and activists have long called for a strong global ocean deal to give marine ecosystems a chance to recover. A Greenpeace petition collected more than 5 million signatures from 157 countries and was presented by U.S. actress Jane Fonda. At the start of negotiations, despite agreement on the final text, the treaty has yet to be formally adopted at a future meeting and will not come into force until enough countries have legally adopted it in their own jurisdictions. Still, Greenpeace Aotearoa campaigner Ellie Hooper hailed the deal as a historic day for conservation and a sign that in a divided world, conservation of nature and people can triumph over geopolitics. A high-ambition coalition comprising New Zealand, the EU, the US, the UK and China were key players in brokering the deal and showed their willingness to seek a constructive compromise in the final days of talks, forming coalitions rather than to sow divisions, she says.